Sini ये चेचु कौन है पता नहीं। हरि ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम नमोस्तुते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दाय तपत्रनेत्र येन द्वया भारततैलपूर्ण प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीप। ओम ध्यानमूलं गुरुर्मूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुपदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरुकृपा। ॐ कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ओम सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। कृष्ण भगवान की जय। गीता महारानी की जय। हरि ओम। We are discussing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, the Yoga of Devotion. In the last chapter we saw the cosmic form of the Lord, which Arjuna could see, and it was declared by Lord himself that without the qualification of one-pointed devotion, nobody can see such form. Even though great gods and other entities are ever eager to see such form, nobody has yet seen that form which our Arjuna could have. So Arjuna naturally has the question in this chapter, O Lord, you always praise, admire one-pointed devotion, faith, and one-pointed devotion towards you only. But you yourself have sometimes said, one who devotes his everything, surrenders to the ultimate truth, that is, without names and forms. He worships the abstract aspect of the Absolute, which is not manifested, and he is the best among the knowers of yoga. That also you have told. And sometimes you have prayed karma yogins without ego, without doership. If somebody acts just as instrument in God's hands, he is best of all. In this way, I am little bewildered to decide which is really best. So he asked the question whether the persons who dedicate everything to the Absolute, think of Absolute only, and which is imperishable, which is unperceivable by the mind or senses, beyond everything, whether he is greater knower of yoga or one who thinks of you all the time continuously by incessant prayer and remembrance, and thinks of you alone with one-pointed devotion through the names and forms. Who is better? Knower of the yoga. So, Lord Krishna answers in a clear but confusive way. Clear, he always emphasized on the one-pointedness of the mind, and that one-pointed mind will not remain for long. It will disappear by itself, just as the twilight in the dark night disappears. It cannot remain for a long time. So also this mind, which is one-pointed and full of devotion, faith, it cannot remain for long. And just as the empty pot, when broken, the inside sky remains as it is and becomes one with the Absolute sky. So also this devoted self, he loses his identity and becomes one with the Absolute God, but only through names and forms. The other doesn't take any help of any names or forms. So which is better? So naturally Lord has clarified it many times that mind, one-pointed mind is important point here to consider. It is not, neither it is devotion, nor it is knowledge, nor it is karma. The mind should disappear. That is the cause of all the problems, doubts, and dualistic world, everything. When the mind is silent, gone, disappeared forever, then the problem is solved. Again and again he clarifies it, but again and again the devotees or the seekers, they raise the doubt, who is better? Now also Lord Krishna says the same thing. Sanyayamyendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. If you are following the names and forms, never mind, I am present everywhere. So all the names and forms belong to me. Why don't you take it for granted? If you see the difference between names and forms, then you are nowhere. If you have no difference in the names and forms, that is only possible when you control your senses. Sangniyamyet Indriya Gramam, the village of senses, that is body. The body is said to be Indriya Gramam. Indriya Gram it is the many houses which constitute the village of senses only. So body is nothing but a village, and it is the inhabitants are the senses in this village. So he clearly says you have to control one who controls the senses of action, senses of knowledge, all the 10 senses. Sarvatra samabuddhaya, when the senses are not working at all, they are under control, they cannot do anything, they are just like horses. If 10 horses are tied to a chariot and they drive the chariot in different directions, what will happen to the chariot? Similarly, the bodied person, he is always dragged in different directions by the senses, and he achieves nothing in the end. So Lord emphasizes upon the point, one who controls all these horses, the senses, he makes it drive in one direction only, that is one-pointed mind, and that's how sarvatra samabuddhaya. His intellect is also one-pointed now. Wherever the intellect goes, what form is it? Is it form of the Absolute? It has been manifested in this form. All the forms, all the names belong to the Absolute Lord, the Almighty, all-pervading and all-knowing. So everything, he is filled with, in everything, and everything is in him only. He is one without a second, without any cause, the causeless cause. He is eternal being. The presence itself is the Lord. So, wherever your mind goes, in some other Upanishad it is said, for such a man, yatra yatra mano jati tatra tatra paramritam, even the mind goes somewhere, he feels the absolute blessedness everywhere. Because he feels the presence of the Lord everywhere. The Lord is common in all the names and forms. Just as many examples people give to make it clear. Say one person in the house at his home, he is the father, he is the head of the family. So children call him father. Okay? And the same person for his wife, his husband. He will not be father for the wife. For his brother, he will be brother only, not father. And for his father-in-law, he is the son-in-law. He is not the father. So he changes. His form changes, his aspect changes, his name also changes, the same person. And for an enemy, he is an enemy. For his friend, he is a friend. If he goes to the market, he is a customer, purchaser. If he goes to the school as a teacher, he is the teacher for the students. The same person takes many forms. Person is the one, we see this example every day in our daily life. And where is the difficulty to hold the one God in all these names and forms? What difficulty you have? The awareness, the existence, and the contentment. रहने दो ना, उसको बंद कर दो जी. The contentment of existing and knowing its presence, that is found everywhere. It is all the same factor everywhere. Just as the man, he is present everywhere, so he is a man. But he changes his aspect and names and forms also. The teacher looks like something else other than father. So, the same person change into different aspects, different names, different forms. One person plays different roles in different serials or different dramas. One person plays different roles. And sometimes we have seen one act play. One person plays so many parts. One person. He changes his voice, he changes his action, and he acts differently. Karna Arjuna fight. Karna and Arjuna. I have seen somebody, I went to south somewhere, and somebody called me to his house, and his daughter is well versed in playing one act play. The father says, Swamiji has come, show your talent. She acted so beautifully. In a second, she changes her voice and actions. Sometimes he becomes so terrific, sometimes he becomes so calm and quiet. So one can play different roles at the same time. So, if we think seriously a little to the depth of the meaning, all the names and forms, they belong to one present only, the presence, absolute presence. Everything is present. So there is no difficulty. That's how one who holds the Lord everywhere, his mind will not be disturbed. Samabuddhaya. His intellect also will be steady. It will not be flittering and restless. Te prapnuvanti mameva. Such a person comes to me only. Sarva bhuta hite rata, and he is ever engaged in doing good to all these names and forms, because he holds me only in these names and forms. And we have seen so many stories, real incidents of great devotees who have proved this practically. Even the idols, stone idols or wooden idols of God, they have shown miracles. The stone idol can eat khichdi, food offered to him, and Jagannath can stretch his hand and take the offering from a devotee. It is seen practically. So it is not the name and form, it is one Lord abiding everywhere at all time in all conditions. He is present, and it is your faith, one-pointed devotion, and your feelings, bhav. It reveals the God. It manifests miracles. So, such a person will be always doing good to every name and form. Example so many times I have given. Sarva bhuta hite rataha, who is engaged in doing good to all the beings. Once I told Siddhanta Swami, having a mosquito in his hand, that is, you have already had. Another incident. Once he was roaming in Odisha for 4-5 hours continuous drive from one place to the other, from there to the other. In that way he was very tired. In the end, at the end of the day, he comes to a school run by the name of Swami Sivanand Maharaj, Centenary Boys School at Bhubaneswar. He is so tired. The moment he steps down from the vehicle, he enters the premises, and he had to go straight to bathroom after 4 hours. He was tired, then he had to lie down. And by the way, when he was passing through a small truck to his resting room, by the side there were some marigold plants, and some were holding some flowers also. And he saw one branch of the flower plant is half broken and it is hanging. He sat down there. He could not see the plant suffering. And he sat down there for 1 hour so carefully. He called somebody to bring some sticks. He put the sticks there for its support and asked some bandage for the half-broken branch which was holding some half-bloomed flower, and he could not see the suffering of the plant. He gave bandage to the branch and gave support to the branch, and so lightly he tied it with the main stem, and then only after say 1 hour he got up from there and slowly proceeded towards his resting house. Can you imagine how he must be feeling? He cannot see an ant with a broken leg. Many times it is noticed, and our Ram Swarup-ji and others, they have taken a photograph of it. Once an ant was unable to walk properly, so he sat down near the ant and gave bandage to its half-broken leg, and slowly he put it aside so that it can walk properly. He gave bandage to the half-broken leg of an ant. How careful he must be. So such is the mentality of a person who holds his presence everywhere, and he is called Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata, one who does good to all the beings, not only human beings, all the beings of all the aspects. Such is the state of mind or intellect of such devotees who hold the God everywhere, at all conditions. They come to me only because their mind is saturated with one thought. Just as you put some water to the milk, what happens to the milk? What happens to that water? They become one and the same. Similarly, his intellect, his mind, his senses, his whole personality is saturated with the one thought, absolute God only. Such a person comes to me, O Arjuna. So where is the question of knower of yoga and a devotee? Having restrained all the senses, even-minded everywhere, intent on the welfare of all beings. Verily, they also come unto me only. There is no coming and going. It is only a term to express his feeling. It becomes one with me, not coming or going. Those who are free from likes and dislikes, attraction and repulsions, can possess equanimity of mind. That is important. Those who have destroyed ignorance, which is the cause for exhilaration and grief, through the knowledge of the self, those who are free from all kinds of sensual cravings, through the constant practice of finding the defects of the evil in sensual pleasures, finding the defect in the mundane objects is called dispassion, having some detachment towards these sense objects, and practice of finding the defects of the evil in sensual pleasures can have evenness of mind. Those who are neither related nor troubled, even they get desirable or undesirable objects, can possess evenness of mind. That is important. Equanimity of mind, steadiness of the mind, undisturbed mind, not restless but one-pointed. The two currents of love and hatred, likes and dislikes, make a man think of harming others. When these two are destroyed through meditation on the self, the yogi is intent on the welfare of others. He rejoices in doing service to the people. He plunges himself in service. He works constantly for the welfare of others, for the solidarity or well-being of this world. He gives fearlessness, abhayadanam. He can give in charity fearlessness to all beings. That is real sacrifice, that is real charity. He attains self-realization. He becomes a knower of the Brahman. The knower of Brahman becomes a Brahman. Brahmavit Brahmeva bhavati. When you know an object, you become one with the object. This example we always quote. You see, just like amoeba, the monocellular being, one cell. You know how it propagates its progeny, how it multiplies itself. It catches its prey. These are, so to say, the germs of diseases and other things. Monocellular, one cell, amoeba. It catches its prey and surrounds it from all sides. It has that capacity and grows in a fraction of a second. It gets digested and it becomes one with it, and then it divides into two. Automatically it divides into two, and that's how it grows so fast. In a second, thousands they will become. Ekoham bahushyama. How one becomes many. Whatever thought comes, it is assimilated in the one, and then the other thought comes. So in this way, the amoeba becomes many. Similarly, one who knows the object, he becomes one with the object, and at a glance he can see the whole universe here and now, at a glance, at present. There is no time for him. He goes beyond the time conditions. By means of the control of the senses, the yogi closes the 10 doors, the senses, and withdraws the senses from the sensual objects and fixes the mind on the innermost self. They give the example of the tortoise, kurmanganiva sarvasaha. The tortoise, when he finds some danger or something unwanted around it, it withdraws its limbs within and remains silent. Nothing can harm it. Similarly, when the aspirant, the seeker of the truth, he withdraws his senses from outside sense objects and remains silent in the heart of hearts. He becomes one with the self. He becomes immortal. Those who meditate on the imperishable transcendental Brahman, restraining and subduing the senses, regarding everything equally, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings, these also come to me. They are same. There is no difference. It needs no saying that they reach myself, because I hold the wise as verily myself. Further, it is not necessary to say that they are the best yogins, as they are one with the Brahman himself. So there is no need of expressing the answer to the question of Arjuna. You should understand, all the time, emphatically, Lord has explained this. But generally, we hear and hear not. We overhear everything. So, naturally, there will be doubts. But, there is a but everywhere. I have told you once, you may do everything, means controlling your senses and mind and withdrawing the senses from the worldly objects, sense objects, and find fault with the sense objects, and have dispassion to find fault with the sense objects, and have dispassion towards it. But in spiritual field, you should not find fault with others, but you have to find fault with yourself. That is the but, importance of but. Always there is a but in spiritual field. You may be contented with all the desires subsided and not wanting to have anything in worldly manners. But spiritual field, you should not be satisfied. That discontentment only gives you energy and pushes you ahead. you can progress well. When you are discontented, if you are contented, then your speed will be stopped. So, always there is a but. You have to know how to use the but. But क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिर् उपजायते अवाप्यते. What happens? One who adopts different paths, of course, some will be easier path, other will appear as if difficult. It may be difficult for one, easy for the other. For the mountaineers, they can climb the mountain straight, but ordinary persons, they have to climb the mountain in a zigzag track. Then they don't feel tired. So same path may be different for you from others, but really there is no difference. One formula, the secret of nature. Whatever objects are created by the nature, they have no qualities of its own. Don't forget this basic principle. They have no goodness or badness in it. According to time, situations, conditions which change every now and then, and according to your use of it, from which angle you are looking at it, how do you use it, it differs for you even from time to time. So to say, no object has any qualities. You attribute the qualities according to your vision and use of it according to time, situation and conditions. So really speaking, there is no goodness or badness in any object. The same fan which gives you so much soothing touch of air, so pleasant at summer midday, how difficult it is to look at the fan at December month, cold month, midnight. You cannot look at it. The same heater which gives you so much happiness at winter days, you cannot look at it in summer midday. You have to hate at it. So the same object becomes good and bad. It changes its color just like a chameleon. There is a story. Once the village boys in a village had a big quarrel. They were fighting and shouting at each other and proving, I am right, you are wrong, on the color of a chameleon. So somebody says, I saw it was red. Some other says, no, how can I disbelieve my eyes? I have seen it green. Somebody says, no, you fools, you are just lying. I have seen it it is what is that? Grey color. Somebody says it is black. In this way they were fighting, and an old man was passing by. My dear children, why are you fighting? No, see, grandfather, see, he is lying and compelling me to believe him. I have seen in my own eyes. It was of different color. So the old man suggested, why don't you go to that man, that monk who lives under the tree where the chameleon is seen by you all? Ask him, he will tell you the reality. What color of the chameleon? Lizard. It changes its color every month, every season. So the boys ran to the ascetic. Swamiji, Swamiji, you know there is a lizard here on your tree. Have you seen it? Yes, my dear boys. What do you want? What is the color of it? Will you solve our fight, our problems? Yes, my dear boys, it changes its color every month. Don't fight. Everyone is true in his standpoint, and the other seems to be wrong. So everybody was satisfied. This is how the world changes its color. From time to time, from situation to situation. Just as I gave you the example, one person appears to be different for different persons. When you go round the mountain, parikrama they say, go around the temple, it appears different from different angles. Our क्या है वो रमण महर्षि रहते थे Arunachal, people go round it, and from one angle so clearly you can see. I have gone round it and seen. From one angle the mountain looks like just Ganesh ji, and from other angle Lord Shiva and Parvati both are sitting. Different peaks looks like different, and from other angle the Nandishwar, the bull, and it's so strange. From different angles it looks different. Similarly, this world is, from different angle of vision it looks different. See yourself, how do you look like from front vision and how do you look from behind? If the photos are taken from different angles, how do you look like? So this is the nature of the world. So the Lord says, Kleshu dikataraste sam abhyakta sakta chetasam abhyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbhi avapyate. The greater is their trouble whose minds are set on the unmanifested. Why? They don't get some support for the mind. see, I am unable to walk, so I take the help of a stick. I never fall down. But our other Swamiji, his legs and hands are trembling all the time. He has got some defect in the body. But we request him again and again, but he never takes the support of the stick, and he falls down so many times. Yesterday he fell down here with the Kamandal in his hand. See? Without support you can walk, but it is troublesome. But if you can walk with support, it is helping hand to you. You are not at danger. You are safe. The blind fellows, they use always the stick. They can walk also by the help of a stick. So, these persons who fix their mind on unmanifested, mind has no support there, no name, no form. So they have to face troubles. They have to fall down every moment. And somebody has to get him up. There are the teachers, personal guides, one who helps these students all the time. So in this way, greater is their troubles, whose mind are set on the unmanifested for the goal. The unmanifested is very hard for the embodied to reach, because you are in relative world, you have a body, you have a mind. Through all these you have to go and reach the unmanifested. So manifested body wants to reach the unmanifested, bodiless, formless, nameless, abstract. So how difficult it will be? Worshippers of the Saguna, arthat means qualified, and the Nirguna, unqualified, Brahman, reach the same goal, but the latter path is very hard and arduous, because the aspirant has to give up attachment to the body from the very beginning of his spiritual practice. I have nobody, so he has to undergo so much suffering from the body point of view, hardships. But one who is supported with names and forms, they say the worshippers of the Maya, the mother goddess, bhuktim cha muktim cha, the enjoyments also and the liberation also, both are in both hands, both. And one who denies the power, supreme power, he has to suffer. He has to undergo so much suffering, because bodily suffering, physical suffering, because he denies the effect of the power. So he has to suffer. If he is ready, welcome. The embodied means those who identify themselves with their bodies. Identification with the body is the Abhimana. I am the body. The imperishable Brahman is very hard to reach for those who are attached to their bodies, because you are trying to reach the unmanifested by the help of manifested body. Naturally, there will be difficulties. Further, it is extremely difficult to fix the restless mind on the formless and attributeless Brahman. Contemplation on the imperishable, attributeless Brahman demands a very sharp, one-pointed and subtle intellect. The Upanishad says, Drishyate tu agriya buddhya Sukshmaya Sukshman Drishtivihi. It is seen by the subtle seers through their subtle intellect. This subtle, sattvic, superfine and pure intellect is named as, in Sanskrit philosophical terms, Medha, Pragya, Dhriti. All these terms are used for such superior, very fine and pure, sharp intellect is termed as this: Medha, Pragya, Dharana, Dhriti, etc. They are just ready to disappear, just like twilight. They will disappear very soon. They will lose their identity as intellect. Drishyate tu agraya buddhya means with a sharp intellect. Sukshmaya Sukshmadarshibhi, one who the seers of very subtle objects by the help of very subtle pure intellect, they only reach the highest without any support of names and forms or manifested objects. He who meditates on the unmanifested should possess the four means. Then he will have to approach a guru who is well versed in the scriptures and who is also established in Brahman, the truth. He will have to hear the truth from him, then reflect and meditate on it. It is not easy a job. He who realizes the Nirguna, attributeless Brahman attains eternal bliss or self-realization or Kaivalya Mukti, moksha, which is preceded by the destruction of ignorance with its effects. Ignorance means restlessness, which hides the steady truth, which is unchanging truth. I always give the example of a fast moving car, just as the driver in a fast moving car cannot clearly see what is written in the side signboards or in the milestones. He has to see it clearly when he stops his speed. Similarly, a restless mind cannot understand the absolute existence which is ever changeless and eternally constant. Because the mind always is restless, moves so speedily. He who realizes the nirguna attributes-less Brahman attains eternal bliss or self-realization or kaivalya, which is preceded by the destruction of ignorance with the effects. Its effect is to create a name and form. He who realizes the Saguna Brahman with attributes, goes to Brahmaloka and enjoys all the wealth of powers and of the Lord. He then gets realization, initiation into the mysteries of the Absolute from Hiranyagarbha, and without any effort and without the practice of hearing, reflection and meditation attains through the grace of the Lord alone the same state as attained by those who have realized the Nirguna Brahman also through the knowledge of the self. Ignorance and its effects are destroyed in the case of the worshippers of this Saguna Brahma also. The paths are different, but the aim is the same, goal is the same. According to your choice, your ability, you must understand where do you stand, what ability you possess. Accordingly, you have to choose the path also. Ye tu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyena eva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. And further Lord explains the similarity in both the paths. Tomorrow we shall see the 6th stanza. Ye tu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha. One who offers karma yoga, one who offers whatever he does, jat karosi jadyosi jadasnasi dadasi jat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kuru swamadarpanam. Whatever you do by your senses or by mind, offer it to me, and then you are the non-doer, so non-enjoyer, so you have no worries. Just like a slave, you have to go on working without the expectation of the yield of the crop. You are a slave, you have to work for the day and get your wages and go home. Don't worry about the result. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Do your duty and leave the rest unto the God. Just as the students, they work throughout the year, they work so hard. They sit in the exam hall, appear the exam, but have they any right on their securing marks? Can they demand so much I want? Similarly, a spiritual student should also forget about the result of his actions. He should depend upon the Lord, the examiner. Every moment we are appearing the exams. This world is nothing but a school. We are sent here to learn. And you have to go back home, your source, eternal source, and show your result to your Father. Father in heaven, how much you have secured, and accordingly you will be punished or you will be rewarded. So it depends upon you. Tomorrow we shall see how the karma yogins offer everything. They do everything just as slaves, and they offer everything to the Lord. When they offer everything to me, when a slave works for the owner of the field, the owner has to take care of him. Has to. This was declared by our Prime Minister also, and we followed the same path. You see, in COVID-19, for 2-3 months, all the offices were closed, but the workers were paid. If you cannot pay everything, at least half of it, 3/4 of it. And all the factory owners and the NGOs, I too, paid to our hospital staffs their pocket money. It is not they who denied to work, it is the situation. So nobody is responsible for the situation. It is nature. So we have to cope up. That is to be done. So the God says, one who offers everything to me, I take care of them. Don't be worried. You are a worker like a slave, and day and night you have worked for me. You have offered everything to me. Don't you think I will not look at you? I will take care of you. Don't worry. Offer everything to me. For example, here our Bipin, a boy, caretaker of the whole ashram, he used to work day and night. If you call him at midnight, he will get up with one call. He, without asking, he used to take care of garden, the cows, and the pipeline, water line, electricity, and closing the door and opening the door before everybody gets up. And what not? He is an all-rounder, and he worked for ashram day and night. Now since 3 months, he is in great trouble. His mother is under dialysis, and his sister also is suffering from some serious diseases, who was taking care of the mother. Both are suffering now. So Bipin has to take care of everyone, and he has not been able to look after this ashram since 3 months. And I cannot stop my hand to write checks for him. Whatever he used to get, double of it. And whatever he spends on medicines, that too, I have to bear the expenses. Of course, God has given me a little intellect. I am doing it as my duty. So similarly, God says, one who dedicates everything to me, can you think I will not take care of him? If this is the condition with human beings, God, who is all-pervading, who is accepting your feelings and thoughts and actions and results, everything, whatever you offer, even if you abuse him, he takes it as flowers. What happened to our Sisupal? What happened to Kansa? All the enemies, God looked at them with so kind heart and gave them liberation. So, he will take care, he assures. This we shall see tomorrow. Hari Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasesate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Sachidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Gita Mata ki jai. Hari Om.